I saw this on a video once and it's just stuck with me ever since. There's kids screaming. I hope you can't hear the kids screaming. So the universe said, you can't film today. And I said, watch me. Hey everyone, my name is Anna and today I'm going to be doing kind of an introduction to myself. Normally this would be the first video, but I wanted to do a actual video that's kind of representative of the content I will be putting out instead of a newbie tag, because I just thought it's easier for you to get to know me. Actually, the Booktube newbie tag I really like it, but I think I personally don't have a useful answer to a lot of these questions that it asks. So I've made the executive decision to take two tags and kind of merge them together into one video. So I will be taking a few questions from the Booktube newbie tag that I can answer with a useful answer instead of just faffing around. And then I will also be doing the reading habits tag, because I think for a Booktube channel there is no better way to get to know me than know my reading habits. But before we get started, please let me know what you think of this idea. Do you think I should have done two separate videos or only done one tag, or do you like this kind of format of like a hybrid? And also please do subscribe. I will be trying to put out videos twice a week, but there's no particular schedule yet. You can expect to see wrap-ups, readathon vlogs and book tags, because I love book tags. And also I'm constantly tweeting about books on my book tour, so if you'd like to follow that, I'm always there to talk about books. So for the newbie tag, I've decided to answer a few of the questions. So the first question I wanted to answer is, what are you most excited for about this new channel? I'm just really excited to finally be part of Booktube. I've been watching Booktube for 6 years now, so it really has been a long time coming, and I just really enjoy all the content. And you know, like every time I see someone make tags, I always go and read the questions and think of what I would say if I was doing the tag. And you know, I love bookish content. Also, I don't really have a lot of friends in real life that read loads, so I really want to have somewhere to talk about these things. Also, I am in university now and I haven't been reading loads because university just kicked my ass. But I think if I have a Booktube channel, I will be a lot more inclined to read more and kind of keep on track. Why do you love reading? I have loved reading since I can remember. I know my mom always tells me that I was reading since I was really young, and I just think that reading is such an easy way to learn so much. And I think especially nowadays, in the last few years, where there has been a lot more diverse settings and cultural inspirations that have been more widely available and more widely promoted by publishers, bookstores and content creators, I think it is a really easy way to learn about experiences that you wouldn't learn otherwise. And it is why I really love reading a variety of genres. I really think that reading is one of the easiest ways to put yourself in someone else's shoes, which is so important to do, to have empathy and understanding for what they go through. Obviously you'll never understand it completely because it's not a personal experience, but reading someone's writing is one of the most intimate ways to look into their brain. What book or series got you into reading? Right, so I think I talked about this in my last video, I'm not sure, but the book or series that got me into reading was Vampire Academy. I loved this series. I'm not going to go into what it's about because I think everyone has read it or heard of it by this point. This was released back in a time where vampire books were really popular, and paranormal romance was also really popular. This was one of the first, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe, at least in my experience, this is one of the oldest YA fantasy paranormal books I've read, and it is incredible. Is it tropey? Yeah, but back then they weren't tropes because no one was doing it like Richelle Mead did. But what I really liked about this, even later on when I got exposed to more paranormal literature and vampire books, it has a very distinct and new universe. Like there's Moroi, there's Dampé, they're like so cool, and it's not your typical vampire of like immortal, can't die, like, and the magic in it. I just love this book so much. I love this series. I think the biggest mistake this author made is name her series Vampire Academy. I think that definitely puts a lot of people off. It's even worse in Greek. I read it in Greek, and when I first heard the name I was like, what? I'm not gonna read this. But yeah, I just wish she had given it a better name because it could have actually been amazing. But anyway, this is my favourite series and the first series I ever read that got me into serious reading. What challenges do you think you'll face with starting a Booktube channel? Ooh, okay. I think the biggest one is consistency. I think life can really get in the way. Also, I think living with other people. Right now I'm at home with my parents, so that's alright because they're at work, so I just film when they're there. But when I go back to uni in a month or so, I will have to film in a house with like 5 other people. Yeah, I think that's going to be tough, but I think I will be able to overcome it, hopefully. That was all the questions that I actually thought I had a decent answer for the Booktube newbie tag. And now I'm going to be doing the reading habits tag. By the way, I'll have both the creators linked down below. Do you have a certain place at home for reading? I don't really think I have a certain place. I usually read on my bed, on the floor, on the windowsill. I figured out I fit on my windowsill the other day. I don't have a particular like reading chair. When I'm not moving around as much as I am right now, I will definitely be trying to get like a little reading nook. Bookmark or random piece of paper? I actually dog ear my pages. I know, shock horror. If it's a library book, I obviously don't because that is inhumane. Then I'll just use a piece of paper, like a ticket or something, a receipt. I used to have loads of bookmarks and then I lost them all. I'll spend like half an hour looking on my bed trying to find my bookmark to mark my part in the book, so I just dog ear. I also have a little bit of a system because I don't really use sticky tabs on my books. I kind of want to start to, but I don't as of right now. So if there's something important and something that I want to refer back to, I dog ear the bottom of the page to mark places that I want to revisit or that I want to be able to find easily. Sorry, my camera just decided to turn off by itself even though it's fully charged. I don't even remember what question I was on. Do you eat or drink while reading? I do drink. I usually will be drinking coffee, tea. I don't really ever drink alcohol while reading. It's usually tea or coffee. I don't really eat because usually snack foods that I like are like crisps, popcorn and stuff, and they definitely would get my books dirty. Multitasking, music or TV while reading? No TV, I can't. My brain is not strong enough for that. But I do listen to some music. I will either listen to like a lo-fi playlist or a movie soundtrack depending on what I'm reading. For example, I really like listening to the Pirates of the Caribbean or How to Train Your Dragon soundtracks for fantasy reads. Nothing with lyrics again because it confuses me loads, especially if it's a song I know, then I just sing along and I don't read. One book at a time or several at once? This changes. Usually in uni I'll have 2 because I have a fiction and a non-fiction. I read loads of physics books, astrophysics books, since that's what I study in uni. Then I will have a fiction book that I'm reading at the time. At home on holidays, I don't know, I usually just end up finishing a book before picking up a new one because I really love being in the same universe. So for example, as I mentioned during Becca's Bookoplathon, I started rereading the Bloodline series by Richelle Mead, which is a spin-off for Vampire Academy. And I am struggling so hard to not pick up the 4th book because I already started reading the 5th season, but like my whole being just wants to continue that story and it won't rest until I have. Usually I can't really switch around a lot except for a readathon. Usually in a readathon I will be reading a few different things at once just to kind of try and get my page count as high as possible in the time. Reading at home or everywhere? Everywhere, definitely. I love reading in cafes. It makes me so happy. I just love the vibe. If I'm on a train or a plane, reading is definitely one of the activities that I will be doing. So I read everywhere. Usually there is a book in my bag at all times. Reading out loud or silently in your head? Definitely silently. I have quite a hard time speaking actually because English is my second language and a lot of the times I manage to mispronounce a lot of words. So when I'm reading out loud, I focus on how I'm pronouncing things instead of what it actually is saying. So I end up reading loads of pages and just blanking out. Definitely silently. Also the fact that I read on public transport and in public a lot probably wouldn't be so cute if I was reading out loud. Do you read ahead or even skip pages? I don't skip pages, but I do sometimes read ahead if it is first off, if it's a reread. I've already like created the image in my head and it's all come back to me while reading the book, so I can kind of ignore the like character descriptors a little bit, or the room descriptors, and instead I focus on what they're saying, what they're doing, what's going on. If there's a very high tension scene, I do just want to see what the next person says or does. So a lot of the times I end up missing action. So I remember, oh, I don't know what book it was. I think it was one of the Courts of Thorns. I think it was Court of Wings and Ruin, where I got so confused because I didn't realise the characters had moved. And I was like, wait, but they were in this thing before. Like, it was just so confusing. And I realised I just skipped about a paragraph of description of how they were standing. So don't do that. Breaking the spine or keeping it like new. I don't ever like purposefully break the spine. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if that's what this question is asking. I don't really mind if a book spine is broken or not. I heard this in a Booktube video once and it's stuck with me ever since. It's like, would you really want your shelf to look like a bookstore shelf? Like, it has no character, in my opinion at least. And I really heard that, like, and I was like, damn, I want to leave behind a shelf of well-loved books. And to me, well-loved is reread a billion times. Do you write in your books? I do, yes. I usually write in sequels. I've been trying to write a lot more. I'm currently reading the 5th season, as I said, and I've been annotating it, even though it's my first read and it's the first book. Normally, I don't really make any. I don't know if you've studied literature, you know, like the kind of annotations you make there, where you take apart what the writer has used and what they've said, but I just mainly make comments about the plot. I'm just like, oh my god, did this just happen? That kind of comment. Actually, I reread Air of Fire by Sarah J Maas, which is the 3rd book in the Throne of Glass series, 2 years ago maybe, and I had so many notes about Rowan and Aelin. It's really fun to annotate a book and then go back and reread it and see what I thought when I read it last time. So that's really fun. I only write in pencil though. I can't write in pen. Okay, well, that's the end of the video. I hope you all have enjoyed this. I'm tagging anyone watching this to do this, whether it's the Newbie Booktuber tag. I know a lot of people have been starting up Booktube channels like me, so if you're looking for a sign whether you should do it or not, this is my sign. Do it. Do it! I will be posting soon next week, so stay tuned. Do subscribe to see when I post next, and I'll see you next time. Bye!